Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
The Antigua government orders a probe into 19 passports issued under the Economic Citizenship Program. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, February 10. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. The Gaston Brown administration has ordered a re-examination of the applications of 19 passport holders under the Citizenship by Investment Program, the CIP. Minister of Economic Investment, Asad Michael, says the 17 Iranians and 2 Yemenis who had applied for citizenship prior to the current administration coming into office may have had interventions made on their behalf by high officials in the United Progressive Party government. Speaking at the weekly Cabinet News Conference, Michael said someone had contacted him and Prime Minister Brown about the matter while they were on a recent trip to the United Arab Emirates. He said the Citizenship by Investment Unit, the CIU, had already started the review of the applications, and he told reporters that any evidence it provides will be turned over to the police for investigation. But the minister insisted the probe was not a case of the government going on any political witch hunt. Antigua and Barbuda is among several Caribbean countries that offer citizenship to foreign investors in return for them making significant investments in the socio-economic development of the country. Meantime, comments about the Economic Citizenship Program in Dominica have left the opposition leader there facing a lawsuit. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has filed the legal action against Lennox Linton, seeking damages for libel and slander. This follows what Skerrit said were false and defamatory comments made by the opposition United Workers' Party leader in interviews and statements he gave to national and international media regarding the country's CIP. The Prime Minister is also seeking damages from Linton for libel or slander in a letter to him sent on January 30th and copied to various other people, including the country's president, members of parliament, the Speaker of the House, CARICOM leaders, the CARICOM Secretary General, the Director General of the OECS, and Secretaries General of the United Nations and the OAS. In that letter, Linton made serious allegations against the Prime Minister and accused him of presiding over a corrupt economic citizenship program that has compromised the global security architecture against money laundering and the financing of terrorism. West Indies Communications Enterprises Limited, operators of the radio station Q95 FM, is also named in the lawsuit filed by Skerrit's attorney, Lennox Lawrence. The Prime Minister is also seeking an injunction restraining Linton and the radio station from further publishing the defamatory words about him. A planned protest outside Parliament in Bermuda fizzled Friday morning after no more than 200 people showed up for the demonstration. And this is despite a call from one of the island's most powerful unions for the opponents of government's airport development plan to show up. MPs debated 2 pieces of legislation that would pave the way for building a new airport under a public-private partnership deal that the Bermuda Industrial Union, the BIU, and the opposition Progressive Labour Party are fighting against. In anticipation of the planned protest, police officers were in place and barriers set up even before dawn. Some MPs were in the House from as early as 5 a.m., but the support that the BIU was hoping for in its show of opposition never materialized. Union President Chris Furbert, addressing those who had gathered outside the union's headquarters, lamented that only between 150 and 200 people showed up to demonstrate.
Fault the BIU membership, because a lot of this struggle, respectfully, has been on the backs of the BIU membership. Because no matter what the BIU has able to been achieved over all the years, everybody has benefited. The majority has benefited from it. And I think we've reached a stage now where the ABA government wants to pass this bill. We've put up all the resources we can thus far. We've got the votes to ram it down Bermuda's throats, and if that's the way it's going to be, sorry, but that's the way it is. It is sad, but there's no way we're going up to the House of Assembly, and I've asked somebody already, go up to the House to make sure it's not at least 200 or 300 people up there waiting around, milling around, and protesting. There's nobody out there. So if you think about it, look at what it's showing. 150, 200 people, that's it.
And shortly after 9 a.m., Furbert sent BIU worker members back to work. Last December, protest against the airport plans was much more robust, with demonstrators preventing MPs from entering Parliament. Police in riot gear used pepper spray to disperse the crowd on that occasion. Jamaica's Finance Minister Audley Shaw presented a $170 billion budget in Parliament on Thursday. The Standing Finance Committee of the House of Assembly will meet later this month to consider it, and Shaw is scheduled to open debate on March 9. The minister told legislators that $485 billion of the budget had been allocated for recurrent expenses and $225 billion for capital spending. Shaw noted that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has been allocated the largest sum, with $208 billion for recurrent expenses and $177.6 billion for capital expenditure. Opposition spokesman on finance, Dr. Peter Phillips, says the government's spending plan will require far-reaching revenue-raising measures.
It's clear that there is going to be need for far-reaching revenue-raising proposals to come. I presume the Minister of Finance will present these revenue-raising measures. There is obviously need for close to $30 billion as far as the preliminary observations suggest of revenue that's going to have to be raised.
And Dr. Phillips, a former finance minister, has emerged as the lone candidate to replace Portia Simpson Miller as president of the main opposition People's National Party. He was the only person on the list when nominations for the post of president closed at 12 noon on Friday. The party said it is therefore expected that Phillips will be declared elected by acclamation as the 5th president of the PNP when the party holds a special delegates conference on March 26. Former Prime Minister Simpson Miller will remain president until then and will continue as leader of the opposition until April 2. The party's secretariat said it will now proceed to finalize arrangements for the special delegates conference, where the constitutional process of electing a new president will be completed. In Trinidad and Tobago now, one of the most vocal groups advocating for an end to child marriage is calling on Parliament to support its recommendation for 16 to 18-year-olds to marry with parental consent. The call has come from the Hindu Women's Organization, which is expressing concern about how the Attorney General is treating the legislation. We get more from CNC3's Candy Hill-Frederick.
Weeks after the bill was passed in the Senate, the Hindu Women's Organization is disappointed that its recommendations were not part of the legislation. It is now appealing to the lower house to take its provisions into consideration before the bill is made law. In an advertisement today, the organization says while the bill's passage means progress in protecting girls, it strongly believes that there should be an option for 16-year-olds to marry, but with parental consent. For more than 5 years, the HWO has been advocating for the minimum age for marriage across all the marriage acts to be raised to 18, with an exception for those 16 to 18 years old. Several senators on the independent and opposition benches suggested the same. But when the bill was passed on January 17th, the provision was not included. The Hindu Women Organization believes that the decision to reject its recommendation is not in good keeping with law, as it excludes any possible circumstances that may arise. In a final attempt to have its provision included in the bill, the organization calls on all MPs to support the call for an exception to the minimum age. The bill, which was passed in the Senate, is yet to be debated in the lower house. Meanwhile, the Hindu Women's Organization says it's also concerned about the AG's tactical move to remove the clause requiring a special majority. It says the AG has now set a precedent for a government to pass any law it pleases, regardless of how it affects the constitutional rights of citizens, and that the organization believes it is cause for alarm.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, an increase in the number of gastro cases in St. Lucia. Stay with us.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and Carib Vision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
Straight out of the bodacious and beautiful culture of the Caribbean comes a music and talent competition like no other. Brace yourself for the exciting, entertaining, extraordinary, and new reality docuseries, Icon of the Islands. The story begins in the breathtaking backdrop of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Every year, this is where a wide and diverse range of contestants of all ages and backgrounds audition for a wildly popular and prominent local talent competition. And the ultimate goal for each contestant is to win.
I already have my favorites, but my favorites may not prevail tonight.
Some moments will bring performers to their knees, while some performances will bring fans to their feet. Get ready to see which star will be the last one shining in the spotlight as the stars align this season on Icon of the Islands.
Health and wellness officials in St. Lucia have issued a warning about an increase in the number of reported cases of gastroenteritis, especially among children. They say they have also noted an increase in the purchase of Gravol, an anti-vomiting drug used for adults, which is not recommended for use in children due to the side effects. Alison Kentish of HTS News Force tells us more.
Health officials are monitoring what they say is an unseasonal outbreak of acute gastroenteritis. Known commonly as the stomach flu, the illness is caused by a virus that strikes with irritable stomach and intestines. This often results in diarrhea, stomach pain, fever, headaches, and vomiting. The diarrhea and vomiting are cause for concern, particularly in children and the elderly, who can get dehydrated quickly. Community pediatrician Dr. Jacqueline Bird says health officials are monitoring the situation.
We've noticed over the last 3 weeks or so an increase in the number of cases of acute vomiting and diarrhea, which we know medically as acute gastroenteritis. This is likely being caused by a virus, and it's not that unusual. The time of the year perhaps is, because we tend to get what we call rotavirus diarrhea later down in a year, like October to December. These cases are a little unusual for this time of year and for this type of weather.
Concerned parents have been flocking to pharmacies for the common anti-vomiting drug Gravamine, known as Gravol. Adults often take Gravol to prevent nausea and fight off motion sickness ahead of boat trips. But Dr. Bird is warning against administering the drug to young children.
It's actually not recommended for the oral use in children outside of hospital because it tends to cause sedation, and if a child is drowsy, then they cannot drink, which is the main course of action for vomiting and diarrhea. The treatment for vomiting and diarrhea is the accurate replacement of fluids that are lost and the continuing maintenance of your normal fluid intake in addition to this. Now, this can be challenging if a child, especially a baby, is vomiting, but it's not impossible. It will be impossible if they take oral Gravol and get drowsy, and they usually will end up in hospital with dehydration. Dehydration is the complication that we fear most with vomiting and diarrhea, and children will have to be admitted to hospital and have an intravenous line and fluids for rehydration if that occurs.
Dr. Bird is advising parents to keep sick children away from school until all symptoms are gone. Gastroenteritis can be spread through contact with someone who has the virus, contaminated food or water, or by unwashed hands after using the bathroom or changing a diaper.
Guyana is moving towards renewable energy to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels. The government is drafting a renewable energy policy to support its green economy initiative. We get more in this report from Sean Emberak of HGP TV News.
Guyana's heavy dependence on imported fossil fuel to meet the demand of energy is being addressed. Government has embarked on a program for a green economy and to transition from fossil fuel. A policy framework is being finalized to support the initiative.
We are currently in the process of completing an updated national energy policy. The draft has been completed, and very shortly we will be going for public consultation and public feedback, and I do invite the University of Guyana as a prime stakeholder to be very active in that.
The overarching objective of the policy is to provide a sustainable supply of renewable energy and reduce dependency on fossil fuel.
Promote, where possible, the increased utilization of domestic resources and ensure that energy is used in an environmentally sound and sustainable manner. The policy will therefore form the bedrock for addressing issues on energy access, energy security, climate change mitigation, and climate change adaptation. The role of energy efficiency will be greatly emphasized, and a national energy policy seeks to establish an energy efficiency and conservation as a subsector in its own right. In addition, very shortly, an energy transition roadmap for Guyana will be finalized.
Guyana's climate change partner, the Kingdom of Norway, is in accord with the roadmap, which will pave the way for several viable renewable energy projects.
Support will also be given to further solar, photovoltaic, and wind resource development across Guyana using grid-tied and off-grid applications. Focus will also be placed on harnessing hydro and biogas. The development of solar and wind farms are currently being considered a viable option for the reduction of Guyana dependency on fossil fuels for electrical supply and the integration of renewable energies in the short and medium term.
The Green Bartica initiative paves the way for government's first green tongue, and the proposed wind farm at Hope Beach are first steps in the transition. The public sector is expected to begin a transfer as early as 2017 to renewable energy.
You're watching Caribbean Newsline. Caribbean American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has introduced legislation in the U.S. House of Representatives to expand the Temporary Protected Status TPS program to include all Haitians who were in the U.S. before November 4, 2016. Clarke told CMC the bill would grant 18 months of TPS to every eligible Haitian. TPS for Haitians was established after the January 2010 earthquake in Haiti. Last November, Clarke urged the Obama administration to halt the deportation of undocumented Haitians, saying the majority of those whom the Department of Homeland Security planned to remove had not been accused of any crime. And ahead in Newsline Sport, Dave Cameron set to be returned unopposed as WICB president. Sport is next. Stay with us.
Get ready for the Caribbean's most original carnival, Dominica's Carnival, Mass Dominic 2017, February 4th to the 28th. Revel in the splendor of a masquerade band. Experience the parades, the non-stop fetes, Dominica Nights, Dominiki Do, Mass Dominic, the real mass. Come, revel with us. Visit us online at dominicafestivals.com or call us at 767-255-8221.
A leader of Arab and Muslim people and a good friend of the United States.
It's indicative of the long-standing friendship between the United States and Saudi Arabia.
It's no surprise then the Saudi kingdom was picked to head the United Nations Special Panel on Human Rights. Its vision and expertise can now bless the world. Part of the Saudi monarchy's vision of human rights for the world includes, among other things, cutting lots of people's heads off with swords, right in the middle of the street.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
West Indies Cricket Board President Dave Cameron is set to be returned to the position unopposed when the embattled organization stages its annual general meeting next month. The WICB announced Thursday that Cameron and his Vice President Emmanuel Nansen were the only candidates put forward for the respective posts by the deadline. Cameron was re-elected for a second term 2 years ago when he fended off a spirited challenge from Barbados Cricket Association President and West Indies bowling legend Joel Garner. The board's relationship with international players has remained strained and criticisms of Cameron have remained strident over the last year. He was again at the center of controversy last November when he criticized the poor performances of West Indies marquee batsman Darren Bravo in an interview with regional sports network Sportsmax, claiming the left-hander's average had been declining in recent years. Prior to his re-election in 2015, Cameron came under fire from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who branded the WICB's president's leadership as poor and embarrassing while calling on him to resign. Still in cricket now, defending regional Super 50 champions Trinidad and Tobago, Red Force continued their domination in the competition after they decimated the West Indies under-19s yet again, this time by 182 runs at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium on Friday. Batting first, TNT posted 290 for 5 from their 50 overs, with batsman Jason Mohammed leading in the run score with 84, while Kyle Hope added 70. Wicketkeeper batsman Dinesh Ramdin remained unbeaten on 60. In reply, the under-19s were routed for 108 off 29.3 overs. Right-hand batsman Emmanuel Stewart finished with some runs on the board, at least 20 runs he made on the board. It's TNT's second victory against the young squad. Last month, they decimated the under-19s for only 58 in the course of their 8-wicket victory at the same ground in Antigua. Staying with cricket, a charged-up Jamaica Scorpions dealt a seemingly invincible Barbados Pride in their first loss of the regional Super 50 when they inflicted a sobering 74-run defeat on the tournament favourites at Kensington Oval on Thursday. Scorpions were sliding towards defeat when Pride cruised to 118 4-1 at the halfway stage in pursuit of 256 for victory, but they rebounded spectacularly to claim the last 9 wickets for 63 runs and sent the hosts tumbling to 181 all out in the 41st over. Once again, off-spinner John Campbell was at the heart of the Scorpions' fight back, claiming 4 for 43 from his 10 overs. Another off-spinner, Damani Sewell, supported with 3 for 46, while captain and left-arm spinner Nikita Miller cleaned up the tail to finish with 2 for 36. Shea Hope top scored with 56, his second straight half-century, while Craig Brathwaite got 52. But they were only 2 of only 4 to make it into double figures as Pride suffered a shocking collapse. Meantime, Jamaica Scorpions head coach Robert Samuel says the victory against the previously unbeaten Barbados Pride was an important one for them. In ending Pride's winning streak, Scorpions secured their 4th straight victory to build up steam ahead of next week's semi-finals in Antigua.
It was very vital. You do not want to lose twice to any team in the preliminaries. Barbados beat us in the first game. I thought we should have won that game, scoring 191. They were just 1 wicket. Now today we scored 250. I thought it was enough because I must give Barbados some credit. They bowled very well in the middle over, the 2 spinners. The 2 spinners bowled very well for Barbados. And they pulled us back. We were 140 runs on the board in 20-something overs, and they pulled us back. At one stage, it looked as if we would have scored 400, but Nurse bowled extremely well. And as I said before, I told my players that, listen, look at how it is. We didn't get out caught in the deep. We got out caught and bowled. We got out bowled and all them things. So I thought the wicket was a little bit helpful for bowlers. So 250 plus was good enough.
In their first class in Bridgetown, Pride had beaten the Jamaicans by 1 run. Scorpions also went down to CCC Marooners by 75 runs in the opening match of the tournament. Samuels says his batsmen needs to be more focused on their batting and utilize all 50 overs in order to win. He's hoping the team will not become complacent in the final preliminary match against ICC Americas on Saturday.
They have a lot of spinners who bowl very slowly and toss the ball, and you can get complacent, you can get greedy. So I'll have to speak to the players at the meeting and ensure that, listen, we have started winning, we want the batting to come together. Somebody needs to get 100. So we're not taking ICC for granted, and we're going all out against them.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the Caribbean's most original carnival, Dominica's Carnival, Mass Dominic 2017, February 4th to the 28th. Revel in the splendor of a masquerade band. Experience the parades, the non-stop fetes, Dominica nights, Dominique Do, Mass Dominic, the real mass. Come, revel with us. Visit us online at dominicafestivals.com or call us at 767-255-8221.
We have original Sean Kingston straight out of Jamaica. Oh, serious. The party minister coming at you live right now from Huntington Beach, California.
Meet a champion.
Yeah, champion. Stay tuned, because this is the entertainment beat.
I love being Caribbean. I love being Bajan.
Guyana!
And hey, represent from Haiti.
Much love to all my Caribbean ladies out there. The hottest Caribbean show on the planet, the entertainment beat, live from Los Angeles.
This is the Caribbean Connection. Keep it locked.
LA is nice. Hollywood is great.
We're a taste of the Caribbean in Hollywood because a lot of celebrities are in the house. Christina Milian is here. Karuchi is here. I am here.
This record company in Hollywood, in America too. They're not ready for reggae and dancehall music.
The entertainment beat, live from Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world.
And just before we leave you, look out for the Barbados Relay Festival that is set to take off tomorrow at 10 a.m. Carib Vision will bring you live coverage of the 15th edition of the Barbados Relay. That's from 3 p.m. They will bring you live coverage of the Barbados Relay. Again, the major developments of this day: the Antigua government orders a probe into 19 passports issued under the Economic Citizenship Program. And in sport, West Indies Cricket Board President Dave Cameron is set to be returned to the position unopposed. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again on Monday, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.